So today I thought I'd talk about something a little bit different. I haven't been feeling particularly good recently, and I haven't been able to really plan out many videos. So I figured, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, it was worth talking about that. So as you all know by now, I hear voices. That's kind of been something that I've experienced for the vast majority of my life, and a lot of people are interested to learn more about that. So I thought I would talk about what it's actually like to hear voices. So the interesting thing about voice hearing is it differs from person to person. I've spoken to many voice hearers whose experiences I can't really relate to. So it's important to remember that I'm just talking about my own experiences here. So for some people, they find that when they hear voices it sounds very muffled and very far away. Other people feel like it's coming from inside their heads or very close to their head. Other people, it sounds just like there's somebody else in the room. For me, it does feel more like another person just speaking to me. Sometimes it can be a little bit more muffled, but generally it just kind of sounds like another person speaking. Sometimes it feels like it's quite close to my head, other times it's hard to really define where it's coming from. I'm just hearing it. The content of my voices these days isn't so bad. For me, it is just like having a conversation with another person, so the things that they say aren't necessarily good or bad. For some people, all they ever hear are negative voices that are either talking to them or about them, passing comment on what they do, and generally just not being very nice. Now, I do have a voice that's like that, but I've kind of found ways of dealing with him. I mean, there still are times when it's very difficult, and in those moments I find it very hard to be around people, so I tend to just kind of shut myself off. But no, a lot of my voices just kind of talk to me. It's just like having a conversation with another person. And for me, I can talk back to my voices. For some people, they can't do that. Either they try and the voices don't respond. But I guess maybe I'm quite lucky that mine do respond to me. It's quite a difficult experience to describe or put into words, really. At this point, it feels quite normal to me. I know in the beginning it obviously felt very strange, but I can't really remember it very well because, well, for one thing, we're going back quite a few years now, and also at the time I was very dissociated and everything felt very dreamlike, so it's hard to really recall what was going through my head at that point, really, and what I felt about it. But yeah, there is sort of there is like a dreamlike element to it, and for me, sometimes I get this pressure in my head before one of them speaks, so it's like I almost feel their presence before they make themselves known, which can be quite helpful for me, I guess. But yeah, my experience now is, it happens a lot. I experience it a lot. It doesn't necessarily bother me. Like I said, in terms of the content of what the voices say, it doesn't bother me too much. I guess it depends who's about and how I'm feeling. I guess what I find the hardest about it is just that it's very isolating. It's a difficult thing to talk to other people about. Obviously there's still a lot of stigma around voice hearing, and even with people who I feel quite close to and quite comfortable with, I still don't really like talking about this. Maybe it's because I just don't know how they're going to react, and I don't know, it all feels very, very weird, so it's just a hard thing to speak about. And also it's just, it makes it quite hard to relate to other people who don't have these experiences. And I guess at times it can be embarrassing. Like, there have been times when a voice has said something really, really inappropriate, and I'm trying not to laugh. Moments like that, or voices just turning up at really bad time and not being able to get them to leave or communicate with them, and it's just you're kind of juggling loads of different things at once and trying to appear normal, I suppose. So that's sort of what I find the most draining about it. I mean, it's just quite draining anyway. Even if I'm having a good conversation with a voice, it just seems to take a lot of energy out of me. So that's kind of what I would consider for me at the moment, the hardest part. Now obviously for some people who are dealing with very, very negative voices and who are really, really unwell, obviously it's not going to be a particularly nice experience for them, and I have been in that situation and it isn't nice. So another thing to mention as well is voice hearing isn't synonymous with schizophrenia. I know for a lot of people, when they talk about hearing voices, the first thing that they think of is schizophrenia. But actually voice hearing happens in loads of other disorders and in perfectly healthy people. Hi Rue. That's completely thrown me off now. Yeah, bipolar disorder, some personality disorders like borderline personality disorder, they can experience psychosis as well, so voice hearing can occur in those disorders. Psychotic depression, sometimes people hear voices when they get very, very depressed, and even, perfectly healthy people can still hear voices. So you shouldn't assume that somebody is schizophrenic or schizoaffective just because they hear voices. So I probably might do a few more mental health videos this month. If you have any suggestions of what you would like to hear me talk about specifically, then feel free to leave that in the description box below. I will get on with some lucid dreaming videos at some point, so I apologise if that's what you've been waiting for. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you would like to support me on Patreon, you can. As well as that, there's also a 20% discount on Vivid Dream products. The codes and links and such will be in the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Max, aka the Rara Rabbit. I'll see you in the next video.